Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make our lasso bracelet. This cute wrapped cord bracelet features a button and a charm from the Western Winds TierraCast Collection. So let's take a look at the products and tools we'll need to make it. For this project, I will be using the size 6 silver-plated metal round seed beads. I have a size 6 matte opaque variegated turquoise round Japanese seed beads. I have a size 3 opaque pepper red round Japanese seed beads. Then I've got a 19mm antique silver Thunderbird charm by TierraCast. I have a 20mm antique silver Western button by TierraCast, and then I've got a 5.5 silver-plated 20-gauge open jump ring by TierraCast. I have 2 yards of the 1.5mm natural antique brown round leather cord, and then I have 1 spool of the 1G. For my tools today, I will be using a size 11 Tulip beading needle. I have a U-pin, a tape measure, I've got my Xuron thread and fiber scissors, and I've got 2 chain nose pliers. You can find links to all these beads and supplies in the description below. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin your project, you're going to want to take the 2 yards of your leather cord and you're going to want to thread one end of it onto the shank of the button, and you're going to want to bring the button to the center of the 2 yards. So you're just going to want to bring your 2 ends together here. So I slid my button on, pulling the 2 ends together, and then I'll just push that button there. So I've made sure that it's in the center of my cord. And then I'm just going to do a simple overhand knot with both ends of the cord and just try to have it be as close to the end of the button as possible. So you're going to bring your 2 ends through there, bring those down, and then I'm just going to kind of move this up there so it's actually like right on the button there. All right, I just give it a nice good tug. So there, I've just got a nice basic overhand knot. So now I'm ready to begin, and what I like to do is I like to use either a clipboard to clip in my button here, or today I'm just going to use like a U-pin to pin it down to my bead board here. And the reason you want to kind of have it like attached or adhered to something is you need a little bit of tension as you're doing this project for the wrapped cord bracelet, and this just really helps you give a little bit of tension and so that you can work on your bracelet. So I've got that. That is all done. And then you're going to want to take about 8 feet of the 1G cord or the 1G thread, and you're going to want to double it over and just tie an overhand knot at the end so you have a double thread. I'm doing a much shorter piece just for the easeability on camera so you guys can see closely what I'm doing. So then you're going to want to take your needle, you want to go underneath the left cord there, and then you're going to take your needle and you're going to go back through the 2 cords in between them to do a lark's head knot around the left side of the leather. And you want to pull it down so that your knot sits right next to that button there. So I'm just going to try to pull that. So it sits there, and then that way it secures it to your project there, and then you can start your stitch. So I'm just gonna pull my ends together there. All right. So now I'm ready to actually begin stitching my beads. So first, I'm going to start off with my pattern. My pattern is 5 of the turquoise, 2 of the silver, 3 red, 2 silver, and then it just repeats. Feel free to vary up the pattern if you would like to, string it up in a different way. That's cool too, and we'd always like to see that. But that's just how I decided to do my pattern today. So you pick up a bead, you leave it on your needle, and you're going to bring it up underneath your cord here between the 2 pieces of leather. And so it's going underneath, so then you're going to pull your 1G cord through there with your needle on there. And you're going to want to make sure everything's pulled nice and tight. So it's underneath, and then you're going to come over the top with your needle going over the leather, through the turquoise bead, and over the left piece of cord. And then you're just going to pull it down. And there you've got your first bead on there. And you can always kind of slide it up there a little bit if you need to. And so then I just repeat that process with the second one. So just pop it up there underneath, hold it in place with your hand. Take your needle going over the top of the leather cord, going through the turquoise bead and over the top of the other side of the leather cord, and then pull your thread through. Pick up a third turquoise bead, pop it up in between there, bring your thread through. Then you bring your needle over the top of the cords, through the turquoise bead and over the top of the other cord. All right, so I got 3, so I just need to add 2 more of this color. Again, just popping it up in between the 2 pieces of leather, pulling your thread through. And if you find that the 1G is getting kind of knotted or anything, you could also condition it with like a beeswax or a thread conditioner of some sort. So here I've got my bead popped up, taking my needle, going over the cord, through the turquoise bead, over the other cord, and then just pulling it through. All right. And then I'm just going to keep proceeding with that pattern. I've got 1 more turquoise bead here. Just popping it through the bottom, pulling your thread through, going over the top, through the turquoise bead and over the top, whoops, over the top, through the turquoise bead and over the top again, and then just pulling everything through. And you can always kind of just like stop and look and make sure your beads are sitting where you want them to be and your tension's good. And as you can kind of see here, we did a contrasting color for the 1G, so it kind of looked a little bit like stitching on the wrapped cord. We just thought that would kind of give it kind of a fun look. So I've got my 5 turquoise beads. So now I'm ready to go to my silver beads. And I'm just going to do 2 of these. So I'm going to pop it up from below, pulling my needle and thread through here. Making sure everything's pulled down nice and snug. Going over the top of the leather, through the metal bead, and back over the top of the leather, and then just pulling it through. I'm going to do 1 more silver bead. So popping it up from below, pulling your thread through, going over the top of the leather with your needle, through the silver bead, over the top of the other side of the leather, and pulling your thread through. All right. So now I'm ready for a red bead. So again, popping up through the bottom, pop it up there. Whoops. Just tighten my silver one there. Pulling your thread through. Then go over the top of the leather cord, through the seed bead and over the top of the other side of the leather cord, and then just pull your thread through. Just make sure you're pulling everything nice and tight and that everything's sitting nicely there. So I got to do 1 more red. So pulling that through the bottom there. Going to come up through the top, over the top, go through the red, over the top of the leather, and pulling it through. Oops. Get both sides there. And just make sure you're pulling everything nice and tight. So I'm going to pick up another red one. Popping it up through the bottom. Pulling your thread through nice and tight. Make sure everything's pretty good tension. Coming over the top with the needle, through the red bead, and over the top again. And then pulling it through. All right. And now I'm ready to do the silver bead. So back to the silver. So I'm going to do 2 of those. Over the top, go through the silver bead, and then over the top again. Putting everything nice and tight. Pick up a second silver bead, popping it up through the bottom, and pulling your thread through. Go over the top of the leather cord, through the silver bead, and over the top of the other leather cord, and then pulling it through. All right, so this is pretty much our pattern. So now I'm just to the point where I'm going to pick up a turquoise bead because I'm just going to start this repeat. So I'm going to grab a turquoise, popping it up through the bottom, pulling my cord through, going over the top of the leather cord, through the turquoise bead, and over the top of the second side of the leather cord there. And then I'm just going to pull my thread through. See? All right. So there, I've kind of seen my pattern there. And you can kind of tell too that we have a little bit different sizes of beads. So it gives a little bit of variation because it starts out small, goes a little smaller, then goes bigger, smaller, and then it'll go a little bit smaller here. So it should give a really cute look once we get it all stitched up. So I'm going to continue to repeat this pattern for the full length of the bracelet because I do want it to be 3 wraps. And then I will show you how to go ahead and finish the ends. So I'm just going to keep stitching, just adding beads, pulling them up through the bottom, going over the top with the needle, through the bead, and over the top of the other cord, and pulling it through. Just continue this pattern of 5 turquoise, 2 silver, 3 red, 2 silver, and then it's just a repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching up this 3 wrap bracelet, and then I'll be back to show you how to end it. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and I finished adding the beads to my bracelet. So right now, before I add my knots and the loop for the button, for the closure, it sits at about 23 inches. So if you want your bracelet to be shorter, you'll want to add a few less beads. And if you wanted it to be longer, you'll want to add a few more. Because after we add our knots and then the loop, it's probably going to add about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, approximately. All right, so to do my knots here, I'm going to take the 2 end cords here that I have, and I'm going to take the left cord and I'm going to create a loop so that it just kind of loops behind there. So I'm creating a loop. I'm going to hold that with my finger. Then I'm going to take my right cord and I'm going to go through that loop with that right cord. Then you bring your right cord behind your left cord and you go through that loop that you created. And then you're going to pull that knot tight up against your beadwork. And this is called a snake knot that we're doing today. So there, I'm just going to kind of massage it until it gets to the top of your beadwork. You don't want to cinch it down really tight because this is just the beginning of the knot. So you've got that first part of your snake knot. Now you're going to flip it over. You're going to bring your right cord behind your left cord. And then you're going to, this little loop here, you're going to want to loosen that so that you can slide the right cord through it. So make sure your right cord is behind your left cord and you want to go through that loop there that you just loosened a little bit. And then you're going to bring it down and tighten your knot. So see, now you've got 2 little ridges there and 1 little ridge. So we're still just starting it here. So we're just going to flip it over again and do the same thing. Bring your right cord behind your left cord and you're going to loosen this last loop or the last knot that you made. Bring your right cord and you're going to go through that knot. And then you're going to pull it down. And tighten it up. It's okay to give it, tighten it up a little bit. You just don't really want to cinch it down, seeing how you're going to be still adding to it. So again, same fashion, just flip it over. Bring your right cord behind your left cord. And you're going to loosen that last snake knot. And you're going to put your right cord through it. And then tighten it down. And it just kind of makes a really kind of fun little braided knot there. We thought it was a really cute look. So keep going. I'm going to do a couple more. So you're going to flip it over. Bring your right cord behind your left cord again. You're going to loosen that last snake knot a little bit. And you kind of do want to take care, because the leather, if you really pick at it, it could mar a little bit. So just be kind of gentle when you're trying to open your knots. So with your right cord behind your left cord, you're going to go back through that loop or that knot that you just loosened a little, and you're going to pull it down. And I'm just going to do probably 2 more. So flipping it over again. Just always make sure you flip and then add the knot to the loop. Going to loosen that loop. the last knot, bring in your right cord behind your left cord. You're going to go through that loop, and then you're going to tighten it down. So see, you can kind of see we got this really cute little pattern going there. So I'm just going to do, I think, one more, and then I should be good. So I'm going to flip it over again. Again, bringing my right cord behind my left cord. I'm going to loosen that last snake knot. You're going to go through that loop that you just loosened there, that last knot, with your right cord. And pull it down. All right. So I feel like I've got a few knots there, and I think that's nice. Nice little look there. So see, now it's nice and secure. And so now I'm at the point where I'm just going to make the slit for my button. So I'm going to hold my two pieces of leather together. I'm going to take my button, and I'm gonna kind of do it the sideways here. So I'm just going to make sure that the button will fit through there. So holding that spot with my fingers that I measured for the button, I'm going to hold that, and then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot here at the end. Cinch that up. And sometimes before I cinch it up, I go ahead and I just check my button again just to make sure it fits through there, and then give it a nice good tightening up there. Because you don't want to get it super tight and then realize your button's not going to quite fit, and sometimes it's hard to like loosen the leather after you've really cinched it down. So now that is done. I'm just going to take my Xuron thread and fiber scissors, and I'm just going to cut my ends at an angle. You can cut them straight across if you like. I just always like them at an angle because I think it's kind of cute. And now I've got my bracelet pretty much finished. So now I just want to add my little Thunderbird charm. So he's just this cute little guy. So I'm going to add him with a jump ring, and I'm just going to put him through this last piece of cord here right next to the turquoise button and between the first snake knot. So taking your chain nose pliers, you're going to want to open your jump ring by pulling one side towards you and one side away from you. You're going to want to slip it through the loop on the Thunderbird charm, and then of course before you close it, you're going to want to put it through the leather here. So I'm just going through the cord there on the bottom there and that turquoise bead with the jump ring, and then I'm going to close the jump ring. And there. And now I've just got this cute little embellishment there at the end. So this is a 3-wrap bracelet here. So you'll be able to go around your wrists 3 times. So I'm just going to close it here so you can kind of see the final finished product. And I think this bracelet turned out really cute. It's kind of fun, and you could really do it in a lot of different colors too. If you wanted to have it maybe not be as westerny, you could do some different colors there. So now you got that really cute little button, you got your little Thunderbird charm, you got your little snake knots with the beads. I think it's super cute. So you can find all the products and tools for this inspiration design at fusionbeads.com.